Hey everyone, welcome to Ecclesiastes, the Circus of Life online cabaret. We are so excited to be presenting this to you tonight. My name is Dustin Ceithamer and I am the composer-writer of Ecclesiastes, the Circus of Life, and I am so excited for you to see this tonight. But before we get started, I really want to introduce someone who's so special to me, and that is Melissa Mollner. Melissa is the producer of tonight's cabaret and also the co-director. And we've been friends for way too many years. Mel, what made you want to produce Ecclesiastes?
Well, I really love this piece so much, and this year was just really resonating with the themes of purpose and meaning and satisfaction in life, and so I just wanted more people to experience it, and what better way than what's hot right now is online.
Oh, it's super hot right
so
now.
Hot.
We are so excited. And so after you decide what piece you're going to do, what are some of the next steps?
Yeah, ask the writer, so
Check.
Done. And then just find people that would resonate with the material and want to see it come to life. And I'm so grateful for several people who really believed in us and believed in the show to be able to present it tonight. So thank you to those who have. And then our cast, incredible, talented performers that you're gonna get to see throughout this evening. Really grateful for all of them.
And who else do we have on the production team?
Our very important friend, Jonathan Arana.
Come on down, Jonathan.
Hello,
Hello.
so good to
Thank
see
you
you.
for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Now, before you're worried, I just want to point out that we have been socially distanced we've been quarantining together all summer, so their cooties are my cooties, and vice versa. But so Jonathan, Arana, and Mel is also the producer, but they are co-directing this cabaret tonight. What really resonated with you with the material of Ecclesiastes?
Well, Mel and I, when we were at the beach this summer, she mentioned that she wanted to bring this to life.
That's where all good brainstorming happens.
Absolutely.
If you can, like by the shore.
And she said, hey, are you interested in maybe signing on and we could do this project together? And I was like, absolutely. I've been in love with the piece since I first saw it. And there's actually a quote I wanted to read by Thomas Wolfe. He is a novelist and he wrote about this book. He said, "For of all I have ever seen or learned, this book, Ecclesiastes, seems to me the noblest, the wisest, and the most powerful expression of man's life upon earth, and also the highest flower of poetry, eloquence, and truth. I'm not given to dogmatic judgments in the matter of literary creation, but if I had to make one, I could say that Ecclesiastes is the greatest single piece of writing I have ever known, and the wisdom expressed in it the most lasting and profound."
I think that you will find that it's an enjoyable and profound experience. So without further ado, we welcome you to Ecclesiastes, the Circus of Life. Ooh. Folks, if this is any indication of how the rest of the evening is going to go, I am amazed. I'm so glad you chose to join us tonight. We are going to have a good time. Hey, special thanks to Shane, JAPHEAL, TERRON, JACLYN, and Carl. That was incredible. Now, Ecclesiastes, the Circus of Life, really delves into the themes of the book Ecclesiastes, written by a Jewish king. Now, in the book, this Jewish king tries so many things in his life, his own life, his personal experience, to find satisfaction, meaning, and purpose. But the search continues. And here to sing the next song about a man's efforts to find purpose is BEDA. Enjoy.
He toils under the sun. Generations go and come, but the world keeps turning and we're still learning. The earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows south and north, round and round, returning to its course. All the streams flow to the sea. The sea is never full. To the place where streams come from, there they'll return again. What does a man gain from all his labor, which he toils under the sun? Generations go and come, the world keeps turning and we're still learning. The earth remains forever. The eye never sees enough, and the ear never has its fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What's been done will be reappearing. There's nothing new under the sun. Is there anything we can say? Look, this is something new and mine. It was already here long ago. It was here before our time. No one remembers men of old. Even those who will be will one day be forgotten, erased from history. What does a man gain from all his labor, at which he toils under the sun? Generations go and come, but the world keeps turning and we're still learning. The world keeps turning and we're still learning. But the earth remains.
Whatever is has already been, and what will be has been before. God will call the past to account, we will see his judgment pour. Whatever is has already been, and what will be has been before. God will call the past to account, we will see his judgment pour. But I saw something else under the sun. I saw something else under the sun. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. So I saw it in my heart. God will bring the judgment, the righteous choice and the wicked greed. A time for every activity, a time for every deed. All come from dust, and I'll go there again. Man's no better off than the animal, no better off than man. So enjoy your work, for this is your lot. Enjoy your work, for this is all that you got. Judgment, the righteous choice and wicked greed. There's a time for every activity, a time for every deed. I'll come for dust, and I'll go there again. Man's no better off than the animals, no better off than men. So enjoy your work, for this is your lot. Enjoy your work, for this is all that you got. That you got. That you got.
That was All That You Got from Chris DAUB and Citizens Worship. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much. My heart is so full. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am, because I'm like geeking out seeing all of these artists bring to life this music. If you're enjoying this, why don't you comment where you're watching from? I think we have people all over the country, and I even heard that we had some international people. So if you are following along live in the comments, just type where you are watching from, and I just kind of want to see where everyone is. So the Ecclesiastes, we decided, you know, as the teacher in the book is searching for purpose, meaning, and satisfaction, we thought we'd set it in a circus, because everyone has an act that they put on to find those things. We all have an act, the circus of life. We all have an act that we put on to find meaning, significance, purpose, love. We all have that invisible blinking sign above our head that says, I want attention. And we all have different ways we try to find that. Next up is a wonderful artist, one of my dear friends. Her name is Grace Yu, and she is so endearing. You're gonna love it.
Better a poor but wise youth boy than an old but foolish king, who no longer knows how to live or how to take a warning. The youth may have come from the cell, but he rose to take the throne, or he may have grown up poor in the kingdom all alone. Better a poor but wise youth boy than an old but foolish king, who no longer knows how to live or how to take a warning. I saw that all that lived and walked under the sun followed thee. There was no end, subjects all bound to the majesty. Better a poor but wise youth boy than an old but foolish king, who no longer knows how to live or how to take a warning. But those who came much later were not so pleased when this king he led. For this is a chasing after the wind, it's meaningless and sad. Better a poor but a wise youth boy than an old but foolish king, who no longer knows how to live or how to take a warning.
When we first auditioned the show, the requirement were that the artists who came in and auditioned had to accompany themselves on 2 different instruments. So most people brought in a piano or a guitar, but some people brought percussion. Our next performer was one of the original cast members, and she brought in a cello. And I knew the moment she opened her mouth and played that cello that we had to have her in the show. Here is one of a dear, dear friend of mine. Her name is Emily Alexandria Lopez, and she's gonna wow you with her rendition of 2 Are Better Than 1.
And I saw the lonely people trying to get ahead. Advancement born for envy brings unhappiness instead. But the fool spoils himself by the folding of his hands. Another type
type of foolish spoiled by making foolish plans. I saw another all alone without a son or brother. He toiled and worked and spoiled and shirked the need he had for others. Till one day he was old and gray and he looked at what he'd done. He saw that he had wealth to share, but to share with no one. Why am I depriving myself of all this fun and sport? I'll work my fingers to the bone, but I always come up short. Two are better than one. They have a good return on their work. If one does fall into the mud, the other helps him out the murk. But if one falls in alone and he's far away from the city, the murk becomes his home. It really is a pity, for two are better than one. So I'm informed. If you find your lover has stolen the cover, their body keeps you warm. But if you sleep alone and no one steals your sheets, you might not free to the bone, but I'm sure you miss your sweetheart. For two are better than one. Two can be outdone. The one is overpowered, two can fend. The cord of three strands isn't quickly broken. Two's company, three's a crowd. Four is overwhelming for crying out loud. Two can be outdone. Two, not three or four or five. Two are better than one. Two, not three or four or five. Two better than one. Ah! Meaningless.
I love my friends so much. And speaking of friends, I think we just have so many new friends joining us from all over. It's so fun to see where everyone is tuning in from. I hope you are enjoying this. Now, you may have noticed that in some of the videos, people are holding red envelopes. In our musical, when we did the fully staged version, the teacher, who was kind of the circus master, would give the circus performers the wisdom that he had learned over the years, but he would only give it to them in their good time. And the next song is really a warning of how we use our words and the importance of knowing our place.
Guard well your steps when you go to the house of God. Go near to listen rather than to offer a sacrifice of fools who do not know when they do wrong. Do not be quick with your mouth. Don't be hasty in your heart to utter anything before God. 'Cause God is in heaven and you on earth. So let your words be few as dreams come when there are many woes. So the speech of fools when there are many words.
When you make a vow to God, do not delay in fulfilling it. He has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill your vow. It is better not to vow than to make it and break it. And do not let your mouth lead you to sin. Why should God be angry at what you say you've planned? Why would God destroy the work of your hands? With much dreaming, words lose their meaning.
Stand in awe of God. Do not be quick with your mouth.
Don't be hasty in your heart
To utter anything before God.
God is in heaven and you are on earth.
So let your words be few as dreams come when there are many woes.
So the speech of fools when there are many words.
Why should God be angry at what you say you plan?
Why would God destroy the work of your hands?
With much dreaming, words lose their meaning. Stand in awe of God. Do not be quick with your mouth. Don't be hasty in your heart to utter anything before God. And
God is in heaven and you are on earth. So let your words be few as dreams come when there are many woes. So the speech of fools when there are many words.
stand in awe of God.
Stand in awe of God.
Stand in awe of God.
God is in heaven and you are on earth.
So let your words be few as dreams come when there are many woes.
So the speech of fools when
There are many
words. Stand in awe of God.
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 Stand in awe of God. God will your steps when you go to the house of God.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
If you see the poor oppressed in a district, injustice and rights are denied, do not be surprised. For one official is iron by higher, one and over both is one higher still. The increase of the land is brought to the king's hand, and from the fields the king has his fill.
Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied. What benefit is wealth to its owner except to be a feast for the eyes? Whoever loves money never has money enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied. What benefit is wealth to its owner except to be a feast for the eyes? The sleep of a laborer is sweet, whether he's had plenty or little to eat. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. his mother's womb, and as he comes, so he departs into time. Takes nothing from his labor. He can carry in his hand. So he departs to does again. He works for a wind every day the same. All his days he hits in darkness. Affliction, frustration, and pain. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied. What benefit is wealth to its owner except to be a feast for the eyes? Whoever loves money never has money enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied. What benefit is wealth to its owner except to be a feast for the
Sandlin and Maria, that was so fun. Oh my goodness, my heart is soaring right now. Now, as a writer, it's such a treat to hear these voices and all these artists just bringing this music to life again, and I hope you're really enjoying it. I know that I am. Now, the next song that we're going to perform is the song A Time, and this is, I wrote the show chronologically, but I skipped this song. It's in chapter 3 out of like 12 chapters, and I skipped this song because I felt the weight of it, because a lot of songwriters had written, you know, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap. That song had been written time and time again, and I remember I wrote it the day that I had to teach it to the cast. And so now I present to you my version of A Time.
There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose. Under heaven there is a purpose and a season. And a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep, a time to build, a time to clear, a time to mourn and dance, a time to gather, a time to scatter, a time to cling, and a time not to advance. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose. Under heaven there is a purpose and a season, and a time to search, a time to quit, a time to toss, a time to keep, a time to tear, a time to mend, a time to be silent, a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, and feelings to release, a time to win, a time to lose, a time for war, and a time for peace. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose. Under heaven there is a purpose and a season, and a time.
satisfaction in his toil under the sun. During the few days God has given him. Moreover, when God gives any man wealth and possessions and enables him to enjoy them, to accept his lot and be happy with what he's got, this is a gift of God. He seldom reflects on the days of his life because God keeps him occupied with gladness of heart. Gladness of heart.
Ooh, raise your hand if you love seeing all those babies, all those chubby cheeks and chubby elbows. Oh, those are pictures of our cast members as babies or babies in our cast members' lives. We just wanted to honor those families. You know, as artists, we can't do it alone and we need support. And I just love that we got to see just all of us as children or the families that are represented in our lives. Singing that song is one of I have two theater moms, and that is one of them. Her name is Debbie Pretzman, and she is just awesome, has been such a great influence in my life. I love her so much. Going on, we have one of the characters in the show, in the circus, we have a lot of different characters. We have a strongman, we have the trapeze artist, but we also have the fortune teller. So here to sing the fortune teller song is Adriana Hicks, and doing a little special talent is Torian Everett.
Hi, all right, here we go.
Another evil under the sun, and it weighs heavily on the hearts of men. God gives men wealth and honor and stuff so that he feels he has enough. But God might not enable the man to enjoy the things that surround him, and a stranger enjoys them instead. This is grievous, vanity discouraging, and meaningless. For who knows what is good for a man in life? During the few and meaningless days he passes through, who can tell what will happen under the sun? When you're gone, what will happen to you? A man may have 100 children and have lived many a day, but if when he's kicked the can there's no cash to bury the man, a stillborn child is better off than he. Though it never saw the sun, played or had fun, it has more rest than this man's quest to enjoy his wealth and fame. And their fate, despite his toil, is the same. And their fate, despite his toil, is the same. For who knows what is good for a man in life? During the few and meaningless days he passes through, who can tell what will happen under the sun? When you're gone,
poor man gain by knowing how to behave. To what the eye sees in their roving appetite, this too is meaningless, a chasing of the wind. Whatever exists has already been named, and what man is has been known. No man can contend with one who is stronger than me. How do words bring us profit? The more the words, the less they mean. For who knows what is good for man in life? During the few and meaningless days he passes through, who can tell what will happen under the sun? When you're gone, what will happen to you? And you, and you.
Light is sweet and it pleases the eye to see the sun. How many years a man may have, may he enjoy all of them. Let him remember the days of darkness, days that were a mess. Everything is vanity and everything's meaningless. So cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you'll find it again in your hand. Your portions of 7, yes, to 8, for you do not know what disasters may come upon the land. If your clouds are full of water, they pour rain down upon the earth. Where a tree falls, there it stays, whether it falls to the north or south. So banish the anxious thoughts of your heart, and cast off the troubles that bodies may bring. For youth and the vigor are meaningless. Praise the maker of all things. Whoever watches the woman I plant, whoever looks at the clouds when I reap in the evening. Don't be idle in the morning, plant your seed. But who knows what will do well? Who knows what will succeed? I don't know how a mother's womb can form the child it brings, or know the path of the wind, or know how and why it sings. My heart cannot understand the hand and work of God, but He's the God of our hearts and the maker of all things. Be happy, young man, while you are young, and let your heart give you joy in your youth. Follow your heart, but know the judgment will come. Follow, but know the truth.
That was Antoine L. Smith, and anytime I get to hear him sing, it is such a treat. You can follow him he has an Instagram, his name. Speaking of Instagrams, we have an Instagram account, Ecclesiastes Official. And if you're watching live after this, we're gonna be over there answering questions for about a half hour. So if you hop over to Instagram, Melissa, Jonathan, and myself, we're going to be just talking about the show, your reactions and response. So join us over there for a little afterglow. All right, now we're at the part of the show where it kind of takes a turn, and the teacher really starts delving with really heavy things. And here to sing the next song, called Comprehend, is Amanda Jane Cooper, and doing a special dance interpretation is Courtney Ivantosh. Enjoy.
Labor that's done under the
with a joyful heart, for now is the time. God favors what you do. Always be clothed in white, anoint your head with oil, enjoy life with your wife whom you love. All your meaningless days God has given you. All your meaningless For this is your purpose under the sun. For this is your lot, your way. Work with all your might, for in the grave there is no working or planning or knowledge or wisdom. So eat and drink and work and love. All your meaningless days God has given you. All your meaningless days God has given you. All your meaningless days God has given you.
Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come, and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in that. Before the sun
And the light
and the moon
and the stars grow
dark,
and the clouds return after the rain.
when the keepers of the house tremble and shake, and the strong man stoop, and the grinders cease because they are through.
Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come, and the years approach when you say,
I find no pleasure in that. Before those looking through the windows grow dim, and the doors of the city are closed with their faded paint, and men rise at the sound of birds, but the song of the birds grows faint. When the men are afraid of heights, and the dangers in the street,
when the almond blossoms bloom,
and the grasshoppers drag their feet,
and desire is no longer stilled.
man goes to his eternal home, and mourners go about in the streets.
Before we conclude tonight's cabaret, we just want to thank you for joining and watching it with us.
I also want to thank again those who made it financially possible to bring this online to everybody who's watching. And also, if you would like to see future development, if you resonated with the project and you want to support the future of Ecclesiastes, the Circus of Life, please reach out to us, ecclesiastesthemusical.com, and the link will be in the description.
We also want to thank our artists. You know, it's a hard time for creatives right now, so we really want to thank everyone who said yes and who went above and beyond what we could have ever imagined. So we really want to thank you as well for being a part of this.
All right, now we have one last surprise for you. So sit back and enjoy the conclusion of Ecclesiastes, the Circus of Life.
my one shepherd. Be warned, my son, in anything added to them, for much study wearies the flesh of men, and of making many books there is no end. Now all has been heard, all these thoughts and chatter. Here is the good word, the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. God will bring every deed into judgment, every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. God will bring every deed into judgment, every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. God will bring every deed into judgment, every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. The whole duty of man is to keep God's commandments and to fear Him. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Take 3072.
Better than wine to
I just put on the COVID-19, you know what I mean?